After being a graphic designer for almost 18 years at this point, I've come to understand that psychology is fundamental in graphic design. But the question is, just how important is it really? Well, take this design here for example. Now we want to use several psychological design techniques to vastly improve this design. But what would you do on this design to make it more effective and potentially just look quote unquote good? The first thing that strikes me personally is that I feel like the layout is just too messy, too complicated. This design is meant to be a social media marketing piece or just a part of a website aimed towards modern fashion trends. And so if we consider something like Gestalt theory, we can think about the viewer's eye as they travel along this design. We really don't want a cluttered or difficult to navigate design from a psychological point of view. We want the viewers to interact with the design with ease. That goes without saying, basically. So yeah, a cleaner, more minimal layout will be a good start on this design. Next, I want to focus on the top of this design and consider the audience and also the goal of the design. It's about fashion and keeping up to date with new trends. People who are potential targets for this design can be influenced by the psychological technique of FOMO or fear of missing out. So if we include some text that literally states fashion trends and new era, this might suggest to the audience subconsciously that if they choose not to interact with this brand, they potentially are going to miss out on fashion trends and new aspects of the fashion world. And to this specific audience, that's going to be quite a big trigger, and it's an actual established technique. And importantly, we're adding this at the very top of the design, and so it's likely going to be one of the first things they read or interact with. And the typography at the bottom is not only quite hideous, but it just fails to make use of some smart psychological techniques to further the quality of this design. So first, let's get rid of this playful typeface. It just doesn't work here. After all, this design is aimed at very trendy people in a very fast and modern niche sector. So of course, naturally, we should use a modern and clean typeface that aligns with their psychology, something like this here aileron. That is in of itself a psychological based decision, but we can actually go a step further and use the psychological technique of emphasis mixed with more FOMO. And to do that, I'm going to make one specific part of this text bold and bright pink. This obviously makes it stand out, but at the same time, the text I've chosen to apply this technique on is text that will hopefully make the audience intrigued in this brand and also FOMO into becoming a part of the community. This is the main part of the message that should speak to them. Then we can add a learn more clickable button in the bottom right. And this is because this is the area where the viewer will likely finish their eye tracking journey along this design. So to quickly recap, we've made some psychological adjustments so the red graphic in the middle acts like a kind of a focal point, and it's something that lures in the audience. This plays back into the psychology of Gestalt theory, which is a very broad and a very deep theory of design principles. We then cleaned up the layout for easy navigation and used techniques to generate FOMO in the audience. We tailored aspects of the design so it speaks the language of the target audience, such as typography choices. So, udon ramen, one of my favorites. But this design right here, it's ultra generic and has several issues with it. So yeah, let's put on our psychological graphic design hats and let's boost this design to the next level. First, we should ask ourselves, what is the purpose of this design? And from what I can gather, it's a poster to inform people that there is an offer on noodles. Buy one, get one free. We want to make the offer obvious, but also maybe we should create a statement or impact style on this design because we literally want to alert people to the offer. And so a bold red color as a background might be a great first step forward. And I'm actually going to flip the layout so the bowl of ramen is at the very top and the offer is below. And I actually did this for two reasons. Firstly, the ramen itself will be a good focal point and psychological trigger to the audience. It's kind of like bait, if you will, a lovely delicious bowl of noodles. Viewers will start their journey at the top and then move down to the information of the offer. So they see the thing they want and then they see there's an actual offer on it. It's a quick two-step psychological process. But I've gone for this layout also because there's a specific style that we can run with on this design. The text "buy one get one free" might be a bit confusing, but for this video I'm using downloadable designs from Envato, just as quick examples of how we can change designs. So I'm just going to keep the text and run with it even though it's a bit confusing. So to suggest a sense of authenticity and that this is a genuine product, we can use illustrations and hand-drawn elements on the design. This steers things away from a corporate and cold product or brand, and does help to make food products seem handmade and rustic. It's a good selling point for something like this actually. And so an illustrative hand with chopsticks would be a good move here, and then other elements dotted around the design too. If you set the new design next to the old original design, you can see just how much more impacting the revised design is, and it has just way more character about it. Again, we thought about how we wanted the audience to feel here on this design, and that was by showing them the food item they potentially want, and then leading them to the information offer. This was all encapsulated on a bright and a bold background that was very visible and noticeable from afar. Then we pushed the psychological narrative that these ramen noodles are rustic and handcrafted with unique illustrative motifs. These psychological decisions and changes have made the design vastly superior. Thinking in terms of psychology can drastically change the outcome of your graphic designs and also your workflow in general, and hopefully this video can illustrate just that. But if you want to go deeper into the psychology of color, well, just click that video on screen. But until next time guys, design your future today. Peace.